So let's see if we can get the presentation up.
Yeah, hi, I managed to join as well.
Yeah.
I still have some network issues suddenly.
Okay.
Of course, that's
yeah.
part of the game.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But I can share my presentation while we wait, and then we can switch over to you, Madis, and me and Matthias will run the first few slides.
Yeah, sure.
Yep. So I will...
Sure, we can do that.
Yep.
You're breaking up a little bit, so good if you can check your options for networking.
Yeah.
So can you guys see my screen?
I can.
Yes, I can.
Great.
Yep.
So welcome to the very first Solidify GitHub Roadshow. We've met many of you during the year. Some of you are member of our meetup, and some of you are other people that connected to us. Because of the Corona, we have decided to not push the meetups into the future. We will do them virtual for some time, so we have an idea of what we want to do. And this roadshow that we're going to do is a series of events looking into different topics connected to working with GitHub. We're going to do it probably on bi-weekly basis, at least before the Swedish vacation starts in July, and then we'll continue in August. We thought of that these meetups should be rather short, so it will be about 30 to 45 minutes each. And then they will be virtual and of course free. This first time we have scheduled it during lunch hour. So if you guys think lunch hour is a bad time, please let us know and we will take it on another time next time. And those of us who are hosting this meetup today is me, Magnus Timner. I'm a consultant working at Solidify with working mainly with DevOps connected questions, and I work with Azure DevOps and GitHub and products connected to that. With me, I have my colleague Matthias. Can you say a few words about yourself, Matthias?
Yeah, sure. So also a consultant at Solidify, and I guess you and I, Magnus, will be hosting the road shows and have the different presenters go through different topics, as we will talk about later.
Thank you. Madis, are you there, or are you still having network connections? Well, we'll let Madis.
Yeah, I'm here, but I'm not sure if I still have some network problems.
Yeah, let's see if you can fix those, and you can introduce yourself.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Do you want to say a few words about yourself now, or do you want to continue working with your network issues?
I can say a few words now if it was working.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm working as by title as a consultant. But mainly I'm working as a developer. Have been working as a full stack developer for multiple years, mainly on Microsoft stack, and now have worked in Solidify about 6 months or so. Have worked on internal tools and help clients migrate from one platform to another, and help to maintain each migration tool that we have on the public repo in GitHub.
Thanks, Madis. I still have a bit of a sound problem with you.
That's about it.
Could you connect to another Wi-Fi? Maybe try that and be back in a minute or two.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'll continue with the.
I'll try it.
Yeah.
Try what options you have. Sometimes even 4G might work better than your local Wi-Fi if it's some issues with that.
But I'll continue with the presentation, and you can connect as soon as you can, Madis. So most of us know who we are. We are Solidify, and we're specialists when it comes to DevOps connected to the Microsoft platform mostly. And well, for the last year, we've been working a lot with GitHub as well. So we help our customers utilize the Azure DevOps platform and GitHub platform in an efficient way, mostly connected to Azure as well. We do meetups. I mean, most of you guys have met us there. We also have an event called Global DevOps Bootcamp that also was pushed to the future because of Corona. So, next slide. Why GitHub? I mean, we have been working with Azure DevOps and TFS since the product came, so you probably wonder why we are starting to talk about GitHub. So, we think it's a leading tool in the open source world. It has lots of interesting capabilities like easy code collaboration with other people and teams that Maris is going to show us today. It's also very developer centric, and we think that, I mean, if you get a new developer, new consultant in your company, most people already know GitHub from the beginning, because most people in the developer world today use GitHub both in private and have used it in other companies. They have really lots of really cool code scanning features that we're going to show you later, not today, but at another time. Where you can, if you push a secret or a grid or something that is connected to a secret, it can automatically revoke it. There's lots of interesting API platforms. No, sorry. They have an interesting API platform for integration, so you can integrate with virtually anything. We have another session about that another day as well. Interesting insights that is going to be even more developed over time, and a large open source marketplace. If you think that Azure DevOps has a big marketplace, I mean, GitHub has an even bigger one. And as we're going to show you in another time as well, it has a great integration with Azure DevOps. So you can still use your work items, your builds and release and everything in Azure DevOps, but work with your code in GitHub. Matthias, do you have anything to add here?
Yeah, of course. I mean, since now GitHub is a product in the Microsoft portfolio, then it's really interesting to see how it fits in to the existing tool chain. So we'll discuss that and look at similarities and differences, when to choose what as well during this virtual tour. So for us, it's been very interesting to understand more about GitHub, which we have focused a lot on the last year, to see how that fits into to the enterprise world. Like you say, for me and for us, a year or two ago, I looked more at GitHub as the open source platform where the open source community lives and so on. But it's a very capable enterprise platform as well, with both on-prem and cloud offerings and all that. So it is both a complement to Azure DevOps and an alternative. So that's why I think it's important to, as a developer or an engineer, to see how this fits in and what's the opportunities with GitHub together with Azure DevOps. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the tour as well.
Great, thank you. If we take a look at what we have planned for the future, this will probably change because we will have new topics that might come in between or be later on. We're doing code collaboration with our colleague Madis today. In 2 weeks' time, our colleague Manne is going to talk about GitHub Actions, and that's the GitHub alternative to, it's the GitHub tool for continuous integration, continuous delivery. It's YAML based, just like Azure pipelines. Then in the middle of August, when we get back from our long and nice summer vacation, Jesper is going to talk about how you work agile with GitHub and use the project part, the planning parts. It's going to be interesting. And then we have a couple of topics, not decided who's going to run them yet, but we have securing workflows, where we take a look at security in GitHub. We're also going to take a look at GitHub integration with Azure DevOps. We're going to look at the GitHub package tool. We're also going to take a look at how you do extensions against GitHub. We have actionable measurements, where we're going to see the insight part of GitHub, where we can see, take the pulse of what's happening in the project and see how many pull requests we have and lots of other things. GitHub Pages is a way where you can publish your documentation and other stuff to produce webs based on your GitHub repositories. And we also have a topic about migration to GitHub from different platforms. So if you have any questions during this meetup, we would like you to post it in the discussion here so we can try to pick them up and answer your questions. So let's see if Madis is ready to start talking. How is your...
Yeah, I'm back, so hopefully
yes, it sounds much
better now.
Yeah, much better now.
Much better, Madis.
Yeah, we're
Keep
starting
it like
my
this.
router, so yeah.
Magic.
So I guess, Madis, if I go out for my presentation mode, then we'll go into yours instead.
Yeah, that works.
Yep.
Start sharing my screen then. I hope everybody's in my screen.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Good. So today's topic, as said before, it will be about code collaboration. So quickly about the agenda that the topics that I will cover. Briefly talk about what is GitHub, what are the organizations inside GitHub, what are repositories and forks, branching, about pull requests, wikis, and then I'll do a demo how a good practice of a code collaboration should be or could be, and then I'll talk about how we use GitHub in Solidify. So this is me. I already said some words about myself, so I'm gonna pass this
but
slide.
now we can hear you as well, so that's great.
Okay. So yeah, if you couldn't hear me before, I'll briefly talk about myself once more then. Throughout my career, I have worked as a full stack developer, mainly on Microsoft stack. I have worked mostly on web apps. Now I have worked in Solidify for about 6 months, around that. And as a official title would be as a DevOps consultant. Have done more development and with internal tools. For example, like the Jira to Azure migration tool that we have on GitHub, which is a public repo. So I've been maintaining that and some other internal tools, plus doing migrations for clients who want to move from Jira to Azure. So I'd say that's about shortly about me. Yeah. So what is GitHub? At high level, GitHub is a cloud-based service that helps developers store and manage their code, as well as track and control changes to their code using Git. So, GitHub offers distributed version control and source code management functionality that Git has. In addition to that, they have their own features that they provide. That's briefly what the GitHub platform is. I'm not going to go into detail what Git is. I hope that everybody knows what Git is. So organizations inside GitHub are shared accounts where businesses and open source projects can collaborate across many projects at once. Owners and administrators of the organizations can manage member access to the organization data and projects with sophisticated security and administrative features. When you're creating an organization, you have an option to you have 3 plan options that you can choose, which are GitHub Free, Teams, and Enterprise. The Team and Enterprise, those are with a monthly cost, but with the free option, you get unlimited collaborators and unlimited public repositories with all the features that GitHub offers. And with the private repositories, you just get a limited set of features. So you either can then upgrade to a paid plan or change your repository to be a public one to get all the features that GitHub offers. With organizations, there is a variety of roles that grant different levels of access to the organization and its data. Can give members a range of access permissions to your organization's repositories. You can create nested teams that could reflect your company's or your team structure with cascading access permissions and mentions. And in addition to that, as an owner of the organization, you can see which members have set the two-factor authentication on, or you can require your members to have it turned on. So there's a lot of things you can do under an organization. A repository is like a folder for your project. Yeah, your project repository contains all of your project files and stores each file's revision history. So you can, inside the repository, you can then discuss the project work or manage it. So you can either have individual repositories, or you can share ownership of the repository with other people in your organization or other collaborators. You can restrict access, who has access to the repository with the visibility. So either it's a private repository or a public one. And as I said before, with the free account, with a free GitHub account, you can either in the organization or your personal one, you can have unlimited collaborators or unlimited repositories with full set of features. And if you're using a private one, then you'll get a less set of features. And what forking is basically it's a way to copy a repository under your personal account, and then inside there you can do your you can fiddle with it, do your changes what you need or like, and then if you feel that you have something you want to contribute back to the original repository, then you can do that with a pull request.
Matthias, we have a question here.
Yeah.
Matthias Folke is asking, compared to Azure DevOps, what are the biggest differences of organizations and repos? Do you have a good answer to that? Or?
That's a good question now.
Or maybe I can try to fill in.
Yeah, sure.
In Azure DevOps, we have what was called collections in the old days. And when we upgraded to Azure DevOps 2019 or the Azure DevOps service, they changed the collection thing and call it organizations. So we have the same name in organization. We have the same name in Azure DevOps and GitHub. So in Azure DevOps, it's a, what should we say, an entity that is confirmed with the same security credentials and everything. And we have a number of TFS projects there, and they are all have their own security namespace where different teams have different access to different projects. If we talk about an organization in GitHub, it's you can say it's almost the same. You can create. We don't have what is called a project there in the same way. We have instead we have repositories within an organization. And if you compare GitHub with Azure DevOps, when we can say that Azure DevOps has security turned on from the beginning, so you don't automatically have control to the other projects repos. It's the other way around in GitHub. In GitHub, you want to promote that people share their code, and you only turn on security if you really need it. So GitHub has this thing they call inner source, where they want to enable teams within the same organization to work together. So if I want a feature made in one of my colleagues' projects and he doesn't have time to do it, I can do it, fork the code or do a pull request myself, do the code change and commit it back to the repository. Is that an okay answer, Matthias?
Absolutely. Thanks a lot.
Yep.
All right. Good answer. I'll move forward then. So branching is a core concept of Git. So when you're working on a project, you're probably going to have a bunch of different features or ideas you want to implement, or if you want to separate bug fixes, issues. And some of them might be in a state that you know that, okay, what you want to do. Others might be that you want to experiment before you're actually sure that what you have implemented is good. So and branching exists to help you manage this workflow. So when you create a branch in your project, you're creating an environment where you can try out those ideas then. So you can do all the changes that you want in the branch, and you don't affect the master branch at all. So you're free to experiment and commit changes in a safe knowledge that you're not breaking anything, and it won't be merged until you feel that it's reviewed by someone you're collaborating with. If you work in a team, if you're working by yourself, then that's the risk you're taking for yourself. And we got
another question from Marcelo here. The question is, in GitHub Enterprise, it should be possible to have the feature multi-organization, and that is correct. If you have the paid product GitHub Enterprise, you can set up multiple organizations within the same GitHub Enterprise, whether it's on the server version or on the cloud version, and that way you can isolate, if you have need for that, different stuff within your organization if you use this professionally. Back to you, Mattis.
Mm-hmm. And GitHub Flow is a good example of or a practice, actually a workflow, a branch-based workflow that supports this approach and helps teams and projects who have the need to have, for example, continuous deployments and made regularly. So how GitHub Flow works is that you will create a branch from the master branch. You will do all your changes inside that. When you feel it's completed and ready, then you submit the pull request. And with the pull request, then you start the discussion or a code review with your team members to see what were the changes you have done and so on. And if the team feels that it's fine, you can deploy the branch, for example, to a test server, and then make sure that nothing is actually broken in your application. And if that is fine as well, then you can merge it to the master. I briefly mentioned pull requests. So in simple terms, what it is, as I said, is a request from one person to send their changes for a review to another person, or inside the repository, or if you have forked the repository, and then you can apply the same principle. And that's how the code review is associated with pull request, because so code review is a good way, is what the pull request offers, that you can see what are the differences between the commits and who committed, what files were changed, and so forth. And you can link everything to issues, and issues are the way to track problems in your project or track work in your project, either inside your team or with outside collaborators. And moving on to wikis, then GitHub Wkis lets you host documentation for a repository. So it's a simple way to let others contribute content as well. So any GitHub user can create or edit pages inside your wiki. Of course, it has to be a public repository in that case. They can add documentation or examples or support or whatever is needed. And yeah, so the main idea of the wiki is to inform more about your project, how it is, how to use it, how it is designed, what are the core principles. So in detail, where you can have a frequently asked question sections and so on. So it's a little more detailed than the README might be. So moving on. So I'm going to jump to a demo now. I will show you how to how you can create an organization, and then how to use the GitHub flow. How do you use it? I'm going to jump out the slides now. I have already actually created some of the content. So I have this. Is this the correct user? Yep, it should be. So I have actually created already an organization. So I'm not going to go into so much detail how to do it, but if you want to do it, it's quite simple. You can click on your profile. Under there, you can go to settings. So if just one thing, if my screen or text is too small, then please let me know. Otherwise, I'm not sure if I need to zoom in or not if you don't see what I might be showing. So here you have a menu called organizations. If you click there, you can create a new organization. So it's quite simple. Click here, then you can choose the plan, what you want to use. You can use the free one or Team Enterprise.
Madis, can you make it a little bit bigger?
Yeah, sure. Of course.
That's perfect. Thank you, Madis.
Mm-hmm. And after you choose your plan, it's quite straightforward. Just follow the instructions to add a name to your organization, and then you can add members right away if you want to. But jumping back to my organization for the demo purpose, so to manage your member privileges, you can go to project settings, member privileges, and then you have some options here, what permissions they have by default, so on. So all members right away will get a read access on all the organization data, except for outside collaborators. And here you can manage different permissions, like if it's allowed to create private repositories inside the organization, if you're allowed to fork organization repositories and so forth. So there's a lot you can do. You can create the teams under team. For example, I have created a team that has 2 members on it. One is my personal account, the other is a demo account. And yeah, here you can have team discussions about the projects you might work on and what repositories are available for those teams members. And you can even manage some settings for the team itself. Like you can set a code review assignment to be automatically added, which is actually a good practice to have some code reviewer, so you don't actually just merge pull requests without that. Going back to the organization, so you can manage your members here. You can see who are the members and as I said before, you can see who has enabled the two-factor authentication and who has not. And you can see who the outside collaborators are, or if you have any invitations pending. So going to the repository, I actually have created demo one already. But to create one under organization or under your personal account is quite simple. You just have to find this green new button with the book icon, and then you can create one. So just to show it quickly then. To create one, you just give it a name and choose if it's a public or private one. You can populate the repository with some initial data like the README, or you can add a git ignore and choose a license if you want to. So it's quite straightforward. So going into my repository, how to follow the, let's say, the GitHub flow. So as I see, I have, I'll talk a little bit more about the repository, what you can see here as well. So this is the overview of the code. I have the README file, which is displayed right away. And you can see all the commits that have been done to this master branch, how many branches you have, if you have deployed, released any packages, and who are the contributors to your repository. You can switch the branches from here as well. You have the issues overview, which I will come back in a bit later. You have the pull requests, where you can create new pull requests if you have pushed any branches in to the repository. And you have the projects overview, which you can create. This I won't cover at the moment. There will be another talk about in more detail what cool thing you can do inside here and how to manage your project with this. And then you have the separate settings for the repository, where you can manage access for either the members or outside collaborators. So let's jump into fixing some issues that have created here. See, as I see, there is somebody has reported a issue that the application doesn't work. So I can take this one. I see I can add labels to issues as well. I can assign it to people. So you have different labels already, which can be customized with different colors, and you can add even more labels if you need to. And you can add milestones, which is a so you can associate issues with milestones, which is a good way to group together some issues and have more visibility on before you actually deploy or release a new version of your application, for example. So this milestone will be if I cannot go inside. So this milestone will have a progress bar as well if you complete or close issues. So you will see when it's actually done. There's a nice view for it as well, but it has to be. You can get it from a different view. If you go here and you have the milestones tab, so you can see the progress bar of and how many issues are related to this this milestone. So jumping back to the first issue. So let's fix this. So to do that, I'm using Visual Code, and I'm using a CLI to do Git commands. So the issue was that there was some kind of bug that the application didn't work, and for some reason, I know where the bug was. So
is it possible to get this a little bigger as well?
Yes, it is. Good that you mentioned.
Thanks, Maris.
Is this enough?
Looks fine.
Okay. So let's find the issue. Seems that somebody forgot to add a semicolon here. So actually, before that I fix, I'll first see if I have any not full changes from the master or from out of date. It seems that I am. And yeah, I'm using PowerShell, and I have this nice module installed, which is called Wkis, which gives this nice view, which I really like. So you have a better understanding if you have some file changes or not up to date in the branch that you're working with. So let's create a new branch quickly. Let's name it something meaningful. And I think I forgot to mention before when I talked about GitHub flows that when you're creating a branch, you should always have a meaningful name of the branch. So other people who would work in the branch as well know what the what work is done inside the branch based on the name. So it doesn't have to be long, but just some words and some meaningful words. So let's name it. Let's name it. Maybe not so. Not so. Maybe too. Yeah, it's fine. And let's create it. So now I'm in a local branch, and now I can do the fix, save the file, and then see. Oops. Yeah, see one file is modified. I can then add that staged. Commit that with a message, say application error. And then I can push this to the remote repository. To that, I will say push U. U is a shorthand for upstream. And then origin, that's the remote. And then the branch name that I want to push. That's it. If my network doesn't fail me, and yeah, then I have pushed it. There's a nice little tool or extension for Visual Code as well that you could use for pull requests and to track issues. It's called, I think it was called, GitHub pull request and issue tracker, I think it was. But for some reason, it's not loading for me at the moment. It did before. Kind of interesting. Yeah. So you can use that as well to see what pull requests are assigned to you, or what are created and what issues you have created or assigned to you. So you can manage them right from Visual Code. You don't have to go back to the portal itself. But this time I'm gonna jump back to the portal, and yeah, should go to the organization as well and repo. And then I should see that there's a branch created or not.
Little bigger, please, Madisvian.
Yeah, sorry.
Much better, thank you.
Yeah. Oops. So there should be a pull request here that I pushed. Let's see if it didn't get me through. So let me type something. And change. It's, kind of interesting. There isn't anything to compare. That's strange. All right. Yeah. So
did you commit to the server, or is it just maybe local? Or
yes, I did, but for some reason it didn't understand that I actually.
Will it automatically create the pull request, or is it only that you push the branch to the server?
Yeah, I wanted to create a pull request now when I push after the push to the server, but for some reason it doesn't show me that I actually did any pushing. I see the branch was created to the server. It's tracking. Okay.
but are you in the correct branch?
Is it so that you need to create the pull request as well?
Sorry.
Under branches, you should have it in the GitHub now, right? But does it
I should. Yeah, it doesn't.
Oh.
Yeah, that's true. It doesn't just show up for some reason, which I quite don't understand at the moment. But let's try a different one then. Let's create another one. A branch quickly and do a different file change. So it might be something with the, I don't know, doesn't understand the file. And let's okay. Let's move to the other issue then. Let's update the README file instead and see if that works. So let's add some content to the README file, which somebody's complaining about. Let's say update README with content. Good. And then let's open the README file. So we should have some kind of data. Let's put it here. Changed it. Yeah, there are some changes. Yes. So file again. Let's commit this. Content remains. See if it goes up then. Yeah. Everything is up to date. So let's see. Let's open the. Oh, but. So how come?
Can you see your branch in the code view? You have the branches to the left there.
Yeah, actually, I don't for some reason.
Is your origin pointing towards the correct repo?
It should be. Demo.
It's just right.
Yeah, it should be. Let's see. Yeah. That's. I never experienced this one. Usually, when you want to do a demo, the demos won't work. So so let's use Visual Code instead. See if that one goes. Maybe.
I think that the chat had the answer if you just look into the Teams chat.
Okay, let's see.
Alf says that the branch was already merged through a pull request. Did you have a branch with the same name before? Could that be the problem? What is?
Not this one, I think, because let's see. So it shouldn't be the same name. I mean, oh, let's see, all branches.
It says merged there in the purple box.
Yeah,
that's
the
same thing.
Yeah. So, but that's I was done yesterday. Just been trying out things, but huh.
Yeah, the funny thing is that the branch you're pushing now isn't even listed in GitHub. So
yeah, that's really strange. I have never seen that before. So why is this? Can I do any changes to master directly?
Maybe you should check your remote.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, so it points to the right place.
Yeah, it's pointing to the right place.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, cool.
So,
soon we will practice the good best practice in Git. If all else fails,
yeah,
just delete the local folder and clone it again.
Yeah, that's an option as well. I can do that.
Yeah, but I think in favor of time, let's give it another try and see what happens.
If I can push.
We have about 10 minutes to go, so.
And this one worked. I can push the master at least. Okay.
But if you want to.
Oops.
For the final part of the demo, you want to have that feature branch, right? So
yeah.
You could try to, if you use the code, Visual Studio Code branch, like in the lower left-hand corner in VS Code. You can go and create a new branch from master this way.
Oh, I can try now. Let's name it then.
PR demo or whatnot.
Demo. See if that works. So let's check that. If to have 2 branches. Nope.
Use VS Code to commit and push. So save the file, I guess. Make a change.
Yeah. It's already there, so let's. This one branch, yeah. Demo is not working.
I'm going to suggest go to the VS Code there, that one, and just commit it.
Yeah. Then let's commit this.
And then use the little dots, top right corner for in the dialog, and do a push.
All right. Yeah, I would like to publish it. Let's see if.
Let's see what happens.
This one. Yes, seems it finished. Let's see if. This one worked. That's kind of interesting. All right. So I'll quickly do so let's do a pull request on this one then. I'm not sure why it happened. So yeah, not so perfect, but what I'll do is I'll say as well that this fixes think it was issue content missing. So I can link that one, and then I can add reviewers. Say I'll add the other guy. Assign it to myself. Can add some labels. So it's a documentation. Makes sense. And then I can wrap that to the version 2 milestone. I can create a pull request. So before you actually create the pull request, there's an option with the if you click on the arrow next to the create pull request button, so you can choose to create a draft one. So that one will be published. So you can just do your changes on that pull request, and when you feel that the pull request is done, you can change it to published one. So then it will be visible to others. So now I have a pull request with a link. So I guess the other guy should see it. If I refresh here, should be a pull request. If I go inside, I should have a request that I should review it. So I'll review it. My demo account. So how you can review it? Nice things that GitHub offers is that you can add inline comments so not to be more precise, and if something is not as it should be, or if something is good. So you can add inline comments, for example, saying comment, good addition maybe, and then click on start review, and then the other guy and the other guy should see that as well. Oh, sorry, I need to finish the review as well, and then add a comment saying say approve it. Let's say it's good, and then I can submit my review of the changes. So if I go to the person who created the pull request, I can see the inline comment where he added a comment to me. I can then reply here if I want to. So thanks, and then I can comment, and then I can resolve the conversation that we might have had on some part or some code part that I might have some discussions about. So after everything is approved and looks fine, then you can merge the pull request. What else you can see on this view is you can see all the commits done in this branch, all the files that were changed, or if you have some GitHub actions set up, then you can like code quality or other actions, then those will be run as well with this pull request if you have set it up like that, which is a good practice to have. And going back to the conversation, I can then merge the pull request, and what I can type here is to automatically fix the issue. For example, I can type here fixed and then hash and the issue number, then that issue will be closed automatically when I merge this to the master. And this is a really nice feature that I have. I think it was number 5, yes. And if I click confirm merge, and it's a good practice to delete the branch as well that you have merged to the master. Now, if I go to the issues, I should have only one left. The other one should be automatically closed. Some link in it. Yeah, that it was closed with the pull request. So here, as this was part of if this issue was part of the milestone, then you will see that the milestone has increased. There were only 2 issues in it. So if I would have fixed the other one as well, then I would have 100% milestone. So that's how you would collaborate. So I will quickly jump to the wikis as well. I'm not sure, probably over time already. But to show a little bit what you can do in the wikis is that you can add different menu options here on the sidebar, so everyone can contribute to it here. You can add new pages. One thing to notice is that that the wiki itself will actually be a different repository than the initial repository. Then sorry about the background noise. Is that then you can add that to the main repository with a command called git add submodule and the path to the wiki, URL when you're in the original branch. So that will be then added to the main repository, so you can actually modify it through there then. So briefly about Wkis as well, because I'm out of time almost. So I'll jump back to the slides.
And we have a few questions we want to stop with, probably.
Yeah. So sure, I'll skip how we use it in Solidify then. But
yeah, let's do that. Then just take the questions, and then we have do the last slide. So
yeah.
We had one question about migrating from Azure DevOps to GitHub, if there are tools for that. And if you just want to move your Git repository, that's easy. I mean, you just download it and you clone it locally, and then you remap origin and push it. So you'll have your Git repository with all your history there. If you want to move policies, pull requests, YAML pipelines and that sort of stuff, there's no tool for that yet. We have built some tools for our customers where we can migrate some of the stuff. Microsoft and GitHub together are building tools for all different parts that should be ready between. Some will be ready before the end of the year, and some will come over the first part of next year. Next question was about how to prevent users from checking in GDPR stuff. And I mean, it's hard to prevent someone to check in like personal numbers in the code or in issues and stuff, but you can do webhooks to create stuff to prevent people from doing specific stuff. And I don't know if they have themselves any tools to prevent GDPR stuff, but I'll check that for next time. It's an interesting question. Can you do suggestions in pull requests? Was a question from Matthias Folke, and Matthias, he added a link a little bit further down, how to do suggestions in PRs. It's a link to collaboration with issues and pull requests that they have, so that's possible, yes. Luna had a question about CI stuff, and of course you can do CI with Azure DevOps, and you can also do CI with the built-in actions part in GitHub. And that's actually what Man is going to talk about next time.
Okay. Are there any more questions?
Any more questions? Otherwise, Manne is going to do the next part where he's going to talk about the YAML CI/CD capabilities of GitHub Actions. Let's see if we have something further down. Yeah, data locality in the terms of GDPR. Yeah, that's a good question from Matthias. At the moment, we only have GitHub services in North America, but I think they're in the alpha beta program now for getting instances in Europe as well. But then, of course, you can host this like your own server if you want us to as well. But we'll get the locations in Europe during the next couple of months. Any more questions? Then I think we will call it a day for today, and I hope to see you next time with Manne's presentation. And if you have any more areas of interest, that please send it to me and we'll fit it in. We're really excited about this GitHub platform, and we think it's going to be a good thing for the future, and it's going to be good for us already using Azure DevOps to get new stuff in GitHub, and over time we might probably move our source control to GitHub to start with. We'll probably see some licensing stuff over the next year as well, when you probably see if you have a GitHub license, you might get Azure DevOps licenses and the other way around. So you won't have to be double licensed, but that will probably be during the next year or something. It's my hope, at least. So thank you, everybody. And I will stop the recording now, and feel free to get back to us if you have any questions. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.